Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spring 2023. This is your English 1A instructor speaking. My name is Ozbirinci. I'm Turkish. That's why it's so hard to pronounce my name. You can call me Dr. Oz or Purnur, whichever one is easier for you. And Hector is with me here. Hector is going to be working as your pals. Hector, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hector Peña. I'm a third-year student at the JC now, and I've taken Dr. Oz's classes both for English 1A and English 5. I have a lot of experience with the English department, but also with, I think, kind of allowing students to be able to kind of touch as much of their inner potential and become the best writers possible. So please, if you guys need it, reach out to me throughout the semester. I'd love to work with anybody and
Hector,
everybody.
Yeah, Hector has been working with me for several years now, and our students love him, and we are just really lucky to have Hector. So make sure
Thank
to
you.
reach out, all right? So these will be our optional hours. Remember, this is an online class, but we're still going to make ourselves available for you. Optional Zoom meetings will be on Mondays from 12 to 1. During these times, Hector and I will start talking about the assignments due that week so that you start working on them and you don't lag behind. Usually the assignments will be due on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And please make sure to read the syllabus so that you, when you click on the syllabus right here, you're going to see this link, which will take you to our syllabus. Now, the syllabus, I will share this with you sooner than later, but it has multiple sections where you will learn about how the class will progress, personal influences that I have, my purpose for teaching this class, my reasons, right? The calendar, obviously, but the most importantly, you're going to have our grading contract. This class will be based on a grading contract where you're not going to see your grades, because you get to decide what grade you want. By completing these assignments, you can get an A. By completing this many assignments, you can get a B, but make sure to be on top of your work. If you're confused, and believe me, confusion is normal, just let me or Hector know what you need, how you're doing, and just ask your questions. We're here to make sure you succeed. All right. So these are some of the major assignments we're going to be dealing with, some of the discussions. So as long as you are on top of your work, you're going to get an A. Well, that's up to you, right, Hector? But
Yeah,
obviously well, due dates are also important. But I do give grace periods for most of the assignments. So 2 days, additional 2 days. I don't even ask questions, but if you need additional time, you have to let us know. All right. Hector and I will help you get back on track throughout if you lose track during the semester. So these are some of the modules that we're going to go over. This is just to get to know each other, right? This orientation, the welcome unit. In the orientation unit, we'll jump right into our first book. There's an online version of this book. I've also uploaded a PDF version of this book onto our Canvas modules. So make sure to always go through the modules in a sequential order, one by one, complete everything. You're going to be asked to annotate this book and do a little of the discussions. Make sure to, especially for the discussions, you have at least 2 steps. You first submit the first step, which is your action, where you write a paragraph on the topic, on the questions asked. And then you have to respond to 2 people in 2 days. So the paragraph, the first step, is going to be due on, for instance, February 9, and then you still have till February 11, 2 more days, 48 hours to respond to other people. All right. So even if the assignment says you're late, don't worry about it, because this you will as long as you submit your work, the discussion on time, you're not going to be counted as late. All right, the first step. We will start talking about linguistic justice. We will talk about education, systemic discrimination in our education. But Hector, I want to ask, you have anything to tell our students about these units so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just want to share the fact that I think you all are very lucky for having picked this English class. I myself, again, I took this class, and for me, I was always very interested in the actual material in it. What we talk about kind of right off the bat is sort of the pros and the cons of the education system. We're going to visit topics over whether or not you've had a bad teacher that has sort of demotivated you in the past, or whether or not, like, you know, the mentality of a good and a bad student, or even what it goes to get a good grade. We're going to talk about all these things, and we're going to get even deeper and kind of explore why it is that the education system is built this way.
All
And
right.
I hope you guys are excited, because I think it's going to be a really, really interesting time.
Yeah. I really love this unit. We will talk about cultural capital. We will talk about the pedagogy of the oppressed, written by Paulo Freire, and we'll just really dig deep into the systemic issues, systemic injustices that we still have in our education system. We will be asked to annotate the assignments. You will have some of the readings to annotate also, but through this Google Docs note taker. We'll have videos, readings. So make sure to follow the modules and move in a sequential order at all times. And remember to watch the videos to learn about not just the content of these articles and the text, but also how to complete your assignments, right? So keep that in mind. There will be little quizzes to get through, and you will have to write your first essay by integrating some of these sources by March 9th. And then we will move into our next book, Interior Chinatown. And Hector, you already read this book. You actually, you were a pals when you read this book, right?
Yeah. I actually talk to people about this book all the time. Fun fact for all the students, the author of this book is a previous, I believe he was a producer for HBO's show Westworld, if anybody has heard of it before. He comes from the show business, and he definitely has a really deep understanding of sort of like the deep-rooted racism in Hollywood. It's really interesting.
And this book, Interior Chinatown, is going to be a Hulu show. It's in the process of being made. Yeah, he is going to.
So cool.
He is writing it, turning it into a screenplay now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and Interior Chinatown talks about a lot of the internalized racism that we are sort of fed as we grow up. It's a part of our education, right? We become acculturated. But when we talk about Interior Chinatown, you're going to see how this internalized racism plays a role, which continues to add on to the systemic racism that we have still going on in the United States and the world, actually. So it's not just the United States at this point. So you will be asked to, again, write a literary analysis of this novel. And we will have peer review sessions before each essay. And the most important part of this class is that every single assignment you turn in, you will have to complete during the due date, for the due dates. And then you will be asked to revise all of them for the end of semester e-portfolio. All right. So we'll talk more about this, but you will be asked to complete an e-portfolio where you make your own website, and we will be helping you at every step of this project. All right. Please let us know if you have questions. Do you have any final words, Hector?
Yeah, if this is your first time ever taking an online class, I would sort of maybe just look into some study tips. But my main one is to put aside some hours during your week that you know you're going to work on the class. If you just randomly decide to work on it when you can, that obviously is one way of getting things done, and it works for some people, but for others, it really, really does pay off having like this little block during your week, maybe like say Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. You just try to get at least an hour and a half done. I think your future self will be thanking you for that.
I completely agree. And remember, this is English 1A is the 4-unit class. Normally, you would be 4 hours in class with us, and then you would have to complete your assignments at home, right? So this is, we're talking about like 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
So keep this in mind. And like I said, Hector and I are here to make sure you succeed in this class. Please let us know if you have any questions. Do not hesitate to reach out. All right. It's going to be a wonderful semester. We're going to have a wonderful time. I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you.
We'll
Take care.
get all through this together.
We're
Take
here
care,
together.
guys.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.